Hello and welcome. In this video, we are discussing about SAP ABAP classes. So, a class is used to specify the form of an object, and it combines a data representation and methods for manipulating that data into one neat package. The data and functions within a class are called members of a class. Class definition and implementation. So when you define a class, you define a blueprint for a data type. And this doesn't actually define any data, but it does define what the class name means, what an object of the class will consist of, and what operations can be performed on such an object. That is, it defines the abstract characteristics of an object, such as attributes, fields, and properties. So the syntax shows how to define a class: class name definition, and class. A class definition starts with the keyword class followed by the class name, definition, and the class body. The definition of a class can contain various components of the class, such as attributes, methods, and events. When we declare a method in the class declaration, the method implementation must be included in the class implementation. The syntax shows how to implement a class: class name, implementation, and class. Implementation of a class contains the implementation of all its methods. And in ABAP objects, the structure of a class contains components such as attributes, methods, events, types, and constants. Attributes. Attributes are data fields of a class that can have any data type, such as C, I, F, and A, and they are declared in the class declaration. And these attributes can be divided into two categories: instance and static attributes. An instance attribute defines the specific instance state of an object, and the states are different for different objects. An instance attribute is declared by using the data statement. Static attributes define a common state of a class that is shared by all the instances of the class. That is, if you change a static attribute in one object of a class, the change is visible to all other objects of the class as well. A static attribute is declared by using the class data statement. Methods. A method is a function or procedure that represents the behavior of an object in the class. The methods of the class can access any attributes of the class. The definition of a method can also contain parameters, so that you can supply the values to these parameters when methods are called. The definition of a method is declared in the class declaration and implemented in the implementation part of a class. Method and end method statements are used to define the implementation part of a method. The syntax shows how to implement a method: method name, end method. In the syntax, method name represents the name of a method, and you can call a method by using the call method statement. Accessing attributes and methods. Class components can be defined in public, private, or protected visibility sections that control how these components could be accessed. And the private visibility section is used to deny access to components from outside of the class. And such components can only be accessed from inside the class, such as a method. Components defined in the public visibility section can be accessed from any context. By default, all the members of a class would be private. Practically, we define data in private section and related methods in public section, so that they can be called from outside of the class. The attributes and methods declared in public section in a class can be accessed by that class and by any other class, subclass of the program. When the attributes and methods are declared in protected section, those can be accessed by that class and subclasses, derived class only. When attributes and methods are declared in private section, those can be accessed by only that class and not by any other class. So the code produces the output public method, public data, protected data, private data. Class 1 class definition, public section, data text1 type char25 value, public data. Methods method 1, then methods method 1 protected section, data text2 type char25 value, protected data. Private section, data text3 type char25 value, private data, end class. Then class 1 implementation, method method1 write a public method text1, text2, text3, end method, end class. Then start of selection, data object type prof2 class 1, create object object x, call method object x hyphen method1, write object x hyphen text1. Then static attribute. So a static attribute is declared with the statement class data, and all the objects or instance can use the static attribute of the class. Static attributes are accessed directly with the help of class name, like class name name1 pam text. So a program where we want to print a text with a line number 4 to 8 times. We define a class 1, and in the public section we declare class data, static attribute, and the method. After implementing the class and method, we directly access the static attribute in start of selection event. Then we just create the instance of the class and call the method. The output static attribute a web object oriented program. Constructors. Constructors are special methods that are called automatically either while creating an object or accessing the components of a class. Constructor gets triggered whenever an object is created, but we need to call a method to trigger the general method. In the example, we have declared two public methods, method1 and constructor, and both these methods have different operations. So while creating an object of the class, the constructor method triggers its operation, and this code produces the output constructor trigger. ME operator in method. When you declare a variable of any type in public section of a class, you can use it in any other implementation. A variable can be declared with an initial value in public section. We may declare the variable again inside the method with a different value. When we write the variable inside the method, system will print the changed value. So this was a brief discussion on SAP ABAP classes. Thanks for watching this video. Bye for now.